Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Orbital Takes. Today is Wednesday, August 10th, and we officially have a date for the Artemis I moon mission. We are going back to the moon. Wow, Pat. I mean, we were only off by like a week or two, no?
Yeah, you were closer than I was. You said the early launch window. I said the later launch window in September, but
Yeah,
uh, it's very surreal to be like Artemis 1 is less than 30 days away.
it's happening.
Of course, granted, that's if all goes right, and do we think it's going to launch on the first attempt?
Well, for us, let's hope so, right? Because I mean, I want to
Yes,
go there, right? And so they're
yeah. For us,
expecting.
let's hope so.
So the Kennedy Space Center is expecting 100,000 tourists for this launch, which is we haven't had that many people watching a space launch in a long time.
Yeah, probably the last shuttle launch maybe
Yeah,
was that certainly the Apollo rockets probably drew that, Apollo 11, but yeah, man, it's going to be a cluster down there.
yeah.
But we're just going to share our Airbnb when we get selected by NASA Social and cut costs that way.
So apparently the website crashed when people were trying to get tickets for it. So they have these different sections at Kennedy Space Center where you can get like really close to see the launch and a little bit further away. But apparently the packages sold out within like the first hour. And this was on August 2nd. What was I doing on August 2nd? I didn't see this news until like 3 days ago. Did you see when it
I'm
dropped?
you are literally telling me about it for the first time now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yes.
I didn't hear any of that. So you're telling me I can't buy a ticket to Artemis 1 now?
Well, we might need to figure out what we're gonna do because if the tickets are
Yeah.
sold out at like these packages where they have almost like bleacher seats, we're gonna need to just go on the fucking beach and watch it. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna
Do you think they have ticket scalpers for rocket launches?
that'd be
Yeah.
great. They have to imagine like need tickets outside of the Kennedy
Yeah,
Space
anybody
Center.
got tickets? Anybody I got tickets. Anybody got extras? Like,
It,
it's like outside the Super Bowl, but yeah, for a rocket launch.
I have a feeling what do you think the age range of these 100,000 people are? Like, do you think that they're probably over 40?
I think it's going to run the gamut, dude. I think it's
Yeah.
going to run the gamut of children all the way up to people who were my
Mhm.
grandmother's age.
Yeah. The way I envision it is like these past launches that you see in like the retro film where, the guys are grilling and you see it's like it's for the space shuttle launches, right? So the guys are grilling, you see like hundreds of thousands of people on the beach. I mean, it's going to be very similar to that. This is obviously an uncrewed mission. So if there's not people on the spacecraft, it's going to go up. The Orion spacecraft is going to be right on top of it. I think they're going to activate the camera on Orion so we can all follow along because it is
Hmm.
important that you keep the public's attention, right? You don't want to just send a rocket up and then we're all hyping it up and then we don't see shit, kind of like the Inspiration
Right.
4 mission, right? Not to talk shit, but it's
Excuse
like
me.
you want to see what's going to happen with this mission. So they're going to have the
Yeah.
camera on in the Orion spacecraft, which is going to be crazy. What do you think you're looking most forward to about this first launch?
I'm looking forward to the cameras that you were talking about, seeing what the camera view of the Earthrise is.
Yeah.
We've seen Earthrise from other spacecrafts. We've seen it from Apollo 8. That's the most famous one. We've seen it recently from the whatever Japanese probe is
Mhm.
orbiting the moon.
Like
I want to
JAXA.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see what it looks like from Orion. I want to see what kind of HD cameras they got on there. Like, is this going to be something that's like, semi live streamed? It's, there's a
Mhm.
second delay because of light speed travel or whatever. But yeah, can I just like hop on and be like, hey, here's Orion's current view of Earth? That'd be
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah. 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 So I'm really excited for this. And then so Orion is coming back to Earth. It needs to have everything like flawless, right? So if something goes wrong here, are they going to push back this manned mission by like another year or so? Do you think that if something goes wrong here at this point, it's only going to be a few months? What's your best
Well,
guess?
remember, there's at least a 2-year gap in between Artemis 1 and
Mhm.
Artemis 2,
Mhm.
and it's not clear why that is. I know Eric Berger is investigating into that as are other reporters, I'm sure.
Mhm.
But like, if we've been working on this rocket for the last 10, 12 years, like, why is there such a delay between the
Mhm.
first two missions? I think, barring anything too major, I don't think there's going to be a major delay unless unless they uncover major problem with Orion or with SLS.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's already enough time buffer in there where hopefully it's not delayed more.
Yeah, it's funny because like the way that we need to explain this to non-space fans is that it's like it's an old rocket, but it's new, right? It's only been
Hmm.
delayed a casual 10 years. You know what I mean? Like
Right, right.
these engines that they're using, they look just so legacy right now. Like I really
Well,
did wish it was,
they are legacy. They're
yeah,
literally
but
the space shuttle engines.
yeah, and I wish we did maybe change that up a little bit. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be a sight to see. This rocket is fucking huge, Pat.
Think it
Huge.
quickly going back to the space shuttle main engines, the RS-25s.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you're referring to.
Yep.
Those were one of the only pieces of the shuttle system that was able to be reused
Mhm.
and refurbished. And the solid rocket boosters were essentially just shells by the time that they scraped everything out, and so
Mhm.
it's like they saved very little there with the space shuttle. They recovered obviously the orbiters, and they came back and they were able to refurbish the RS-25s. Now what are we doing? We're just throwing them all into the ocean.
Yeah.
So this is like going back to the moon in a more sustainable way, but we're
Yeah.
throwing away all the shit on the way there. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's a little bit ironic.
This is going to be interesting. So August 29th is actually a Monday, which I don't know how I feel about, like potentially the biggest launch of my life on a Monday, but it is what it is. So they have two backup dates. I think it's like September 2nd and then 5th, right? So like
Hmm.
in
Yep.
theory, we can go down there. They can cancel August 29th, and then we could be screwed and just have to stay for 2 or 3 weeks,
Yeah.
which it's not being screwed. I mean, we'd have fun, but it's expensive down there. These Airbnbs are pricey. The flights are pricey. You
Yeah.
guys heard it. Like these hotels are sold out. Like right now, if you go online, you can't get a hotel on the beach. Like it's
Right.
impossible. So it
Right.
just goes to show you people are hyped right now. People are ready to see this moon rocket fly. And it's been since 1972, Pat. 1972. Like what? We've made it. We finally made it to that point where we could just sit back and be like, all right, it's happening. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna have a permanent presence here. We're not gonna just like this is it. We're there to stay.
Have you seen the documentary called Apollo 11? Where
Is that
it's all a bunch of
like
footage. That's all it
4K?
is. It's real footage, and they don't even have a
Best.
narrator. They
Yeah.
just pulled real footage and real audio.
Yeah.
And there's like this scene of all these people on the beach that that's what you were referencing earlier, where like this guy's like sleeping on top of his car, this other guy is drinking a Schlitz beer at 8 a.m. This other guy is grilling hot
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna be a vibe down there, and
Yeah.
I'm super jealous of the people who get to be close to it.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be exciting, and we'll keep you guys posted on how close we do get. One of us will be there for sure, absolutely, 100%. So we'll see. I mean, potentially both of us, right? Pat, you thinking about getting a ticket or what?
Well, as soon as NASA gives me the okay for my NASA social application,
Yeah,
then I'm buying my ticket.
yeah. If anybody at NASA's listening, you go
Yeah,
ahead and give Space Flight Hub a check and
yeah,
Space with Spo at the same time.
yeah. I can grease some wheels. You just let me know.
Also at NASA today, NASA administrator's statement on agency authorization bill. So what's good with this authorization bill that Bill Nelson was talking about today?
Yeah, so this is not something that is super exciting, but it is very important. So every year NASA gets its budget, and that's called the NASA appropriations of the year. And it's okay, we're going to appropriate whatever it is, $250 billion. I can't recall what the actual number is,
Mhm.
but here's your chunk of money for the year. The NASA Authorization Act is something different that doesn't happen every year. The Some examples of NASA authorization acts in the past are the NASA Authorization Act of 2010, which wrote the Space Launch System into law.
That's good.
So that's obviously a very important piece of legislation that has driven the agency for the last 10 years. So this one is basically extending the U.S. partnership with its international partners on the ISS until 2030. So that's
Okay.
now written into law, and it's solidifying the Moon to Mars program, where they'll create a legit program office, and it'll have an administrator and or a director, I should say. And so like Artemis is being written into law. So while and it's also part of the chips bill. So other podcasts can get into the Nancy Pelosi, the sketchy stuff she was doing with the chips bill, but
Uh-huh.
so this is part of that whole thing. But yeah, super important if you like space, that this actually came to fruition this year, because it doesn't happen every year.
Yeah, so this is written in law. So if you are a flat earther, like, go to the law. It's in the law now, right? Like, it's in stone and you can actually see it. So
Yep.
yeah, I love
So
that.
not the sexiest thing in space news, but a very important thing that has passed recently.
Yeah, that's sick.
And Pelosi, I don't know what you're doing with insider trading there, but thank you for sneaking NASA in there. Appreciate you.
That's sick. The next thing I wanted to talk about with you, Pat, is what are your thoughts on the Elon Musk podcast? So Elon Musk went on the Full Send podcast, one of the biggest podcasts on the internet right now, obviously besides Orbital Takes, but these guys are blowing up. They got 7.5 million views since Thursday. They posted late on Thursday night at like, I think it was 10:30 or like 11 p.m. They immediately got 4 million overnight, and over the past couple of days, they got a couple million more. This was really big. I mean, because this is a generation that doesn't really understand space.
Right.
And the fact that Elon was able to hang out with these guys, drink some fucking Happy Dads, and just talk space, like, I was cheesing the entire time, Pat. Like, I was so excited. I mean, what were your initial thoughts, and what was your favorite part?
You know, the just like you said, the fact that he is reaching a generation of kids that may not be into space because they haven't had a reason to be excited is fantastic. And I think the thing that we need to take from it is all we need to do is get Elon Musk on Orbital Takes, and then we'll be good to go.
Yeah, that'll be honestly, he just showed that he's down to hang out and chill and drink some Happy Dads. Pat, that's our specialty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is.
Well, do you think it's a coincidence that he had his first Happy Dad after I had my first Happy Dad?
Absolutely not. No,
that's not a coincidence.
It was fucking fate, dude. It was fate. So some of the
what was your favorite? What was your favorite part?
Well, I'll talk about some highlights now. I wrote some down as I took some notes as I was going along here. So one of the things was that Elon caused a company-wide drug test by accident, because when he smoked on Joe Rogan, like, they have federal contracts with NASA, right? So like Elon wasn't aware that if he were to smoke weed, then he were to generate random drug tests for his whole company. So I thought it was really funny that he was like, well, sorry, like, I didn't mean to do that. But everybody at SpaceX had to get randomly drug tested for like a year and a half after he smoked on Rogan. So that was one of my funny parts. The next one is he said that he got sued because he tweeted about taking Tesla private on 420. And he was like, yeah, I got sued for that. I mean,
the SEC don't like that.
I don't remember when that happened. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember it, because you're basically it's more or less insider information that you're sharing, like, hey, like, I'm going to sell and here's the price, 420, which is awesome. It's hilarious. But yeah, when you're kind of setting stock prices and things like that, like, it's not insider trading, but it kind of is on a level. So
they were very clear that, like, Elon, you are the funniest man, one of the funniest people on Twitter. And he was really like, I don't know, he really enjoyed them hyping him up about that. He also said, so Starship's going to go orbital either next month or the next. So we'll get that orbital launch there. And then other than that, the only other thing that I want to note here is that these kids, or I shouldn't say kids, they're only like two or 3 years younger than me, but these guys on the Full Send podcast, you had Steiny, you had Kyle, and then you had Salim on there. They had very little to no knowledge about rockets and launching and all that. So they were genuinely asking him, they're like, hey, can we like go to a launch? Like, can we get this shit turned up? Elon's response made my fucking life, Pat. He was basically like, yeah, like, you can get really close in Texas, like Boca Chica, Texas. I was like, let's go. Like, that is what I'm looking for. Like, I love that. That's the difference between him and NASA, right? Like, he's down for it. He wants people there. He wants the tailgates. He's okay to blast music at the pregame. NASA is not. And that's why, like, I think that this whole generation is going to go more towards SpaceX, and NASA's going to be fighting for that view time.
It's like I was golfing in a tournament today, and it's like if you're a golfer and you play music while you golf, and then there's the old school who's like, no, I have to have complete silence when I golf.
That's a great point.
And I have to have music. So yeah, it's maybe a bad analogy, but similar.
Another topic, another thing we have to hit is the Blue Origin launch. They launched their 6th human space flight. They had one. I
didn't hear anything about it. That's weird.
Neither did I, because nobody hears about that shit, Pat.
Yeah.
So they had some notable guys on there, like one of the guys from Dude Perfect, the people that
Yeah.
make those perfect trick shots. And then they also
Yeah.
had somebody named Steve Young, which I thought was a really bad PR move if it wasn't the real Steve Young. I mean, like, who
Yeah.
wants to see Steve Young like the tech guy? Like, come on, give us the football player. Maybe you at least get
Yeah.
some NFL fans watching this shit, right? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah. The Dude Perfect guy, it was such another golden opportunity for marketing and reaching that audience that we were just talking, literally just talking about.
Yeah.
That younger audience that I followed Dude Perfect for a long time. They have a wide range of audience that follow them. A lot of young guys or young kids that
Mhm.
follow them. Like, why was that not just plastered all over?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Blue Origin, if you need some marketing guys, we're here for you.
Yeah, and I'll give you two pieces of advice right now, Pat. So number one, I was thinking about this. I think that they need to keep the interior camera on somehow for the entire flight. If you watch a live Blue Origin launch, you see the beautiful launch, but then they basically disappear until they land, right? And then you see the hugs and everything once they get out of the spaceship. But they need to show people in zero G in real time. I think that will significantly help. Number two, I think if they started some type of lottery system with the general public, because right
Oh
now,
yeah.
all these people flying on these flights, it's like you either care or you don't, or nobody gives a shit. So, how do you
Yeah.
immediately involve everybody? Every single flight, Pat, is like a lottery ticket. When the Mega Millions lottery came out, like when it was like $1 billion last week or 2 weeks ago, everybody was buying a lottery ticket. And half the people don't even like gambling, but it was because you have the opportunity to do it. So why don't they, I don't know, maybe
Great
link up
idea.
with maybe the lottery systems of the states, and maybe
Yeah.
make some
I
lottery
think
tickets in there.
yeah, I think it also helps the PR image with the rich billionaire boys club. You know, you have to be, this is a thing for the ultra rich. If you're giving away one seat to a random lottery winner, there's some philanthropic aspect to that.
Mhm.
Speaking of which, Space for Humanity sent up their citizen astronaut as well. So there are
Yeah.
organizations that are trying to do this, and I need to get up there somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that they're on their sixth flight and neither of us heard anything about it. I saw like a Twitter post or some shit, but like I didn't
Yeah.
watch it. And I did watch the first three or four. Why is it not as lit as we expected?
Well, we've talked about this, that we needed to get to a place where it's not exciting because it's just so commonplace. But
Ooh.
I don't think we're there yet. I think Blue Origin just is lacking a hype man. It's lacking a good marketing effort, PR
Mhm.
effort to get people excited and keep them excited.
Mhm.
They they had some great, depending on how you look at it, some great press around their first one with Bezos, but they haven't really maintained that.
Mhm.
But like you said, it's only the sixth flight. We should still be somewhat excited about this stuff, but we when we were texting about this, we're like, yawn, like didn't even know,
Yeah.
saw it afterward, like, okay.
If I'm Bezos, I'm at every launch. I don't think there's any excuse. I mean, if this is truly his like big thing,
Hmm.
big next thing, you have to be at every launch. I mean, you're
Yeah.
already showing that you're going to disappear after flight number 6. I mean, for
Yeah.
William Shatner, he was there. He was popping champagne. Like, why do these other people not deserve that same like warm welcoming? I don't know. For me, that's
Yep.
my
That's
that's
a
my
great
orbital take.
point. That's a great point. And, not only do you get to chance to go to space, you get to meet, a billionaire and get that intro.
Mhm.
And, it's,
Yeah.
again, another missed opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. So that's Blue Origin. And the last thing I wanted to bring up is, did you see that scientist who went viral for sharing the photo of the closest star to us, Proxima
Hmm.
Centauri? Instead it was what was it again?
It was a slice of chorizo.
It was a slice of chorizo. This guy
Yeah.
punked the entire internet into thinking
Yes.
that this
So
was
good.
one of the closest stars. It had like 50,000 retweets, and then he had to apologize. He was like, actually, that was one of my favorite spicy foods. Like, that is
Yep.
so.
Spo, we need to do some slices of our favorite foods and see what kind of stars they might look like. We can be like, here's what Beetlejuice looks like.
Yeah,
And it's, a slice of ham,
yeah, yeah.
here's Polaris up close and it's a slice of bologna.
You're right. Honestly, guys, we're gonna do that this week, and we're gonna tweet that out from our account. Let's see if it goes viral or not. Right? Let's see
Yeah.
if it goes
Yeah.
viral.
Let's get a few different stars in the night sky and some, and some various meats, you know, maybe some other types, you know, jam, you know, maybe,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Just so
some
you guys
preservatives.
know, we would share the JWST image of the week, but nothing's dropped yet. So they're gonna do this
Yeah.
randomly, what like you said
Yeah.
last week. But
Yeah. Which is
oh hey,
fine, you know, keeps you on your
hey,
toes.
yeah, exactly. And thank you to everybody who followed us on TikTok. I don't know if you guys have seen this. We are blowing up, Pat. Blowing up on TikTok. I've never been more excited.
We've like doubled our follower counts, you know, many times over at this point.
That's what I'm
So yeah,
saying.
it's people are catching on.
I'm hype. I'm hype. Anyway, that's it for Orbital Takes this week. Like I said, we're going to be traveling down to Cape Canaveral at the end of the month for this SLS launch. We're really excited about it. Pat, you got anything else?
Don't forget to rate us on whatever podcast platform you listen to.
That's what I'm saying.
Some 5 stars review. You know, 5 stars would be great. It'll help us jump up the charts there. And other than that, thanks for listening. And Ad Astra.
Thanks for listening, guys. We love you. Ad Astra. Peace.